Danny Masterson was found guilty. The verdict came after a highly publicized trial that gripped the nation. Masterson, a well-known actor, was at the center of a legal storm that had been brewing for years. The actor, known for his role on That 70s Show, faced serious accusations. His portrayal of Stephen Hyde made him a household name, but the allegations against him painted a much darker picture. 3 women accused him of rape. These brave women stepped forward, recounting harrowing experiences that dated back nearly 2 decades. Their courage in sharing their stories was a pivotal moment in the trial. The crimes happened in the early 2000s. It was a time when Masterson was at the height of his career, enjoying fame and success. Yet behind the scenes, these alleged crimes were taking place. On May 31, 2023, a jury convicted Masterson. The deliberation process was intense, with jurors carefully weighing the evidence presented over the course of the trial. He was found guilty of 2 counts of forcible rape. The courtroom was tense as the verdict was read, with emotions running high on both sides. The case sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. The entertainment industry, already reeling from other high-profile cases, was once again forced to confront issues of sexual misconduct and abuse. The guilty verdict was a victory for the victims. Their relief and sense of justice were palpable as they embraced and celebrated the outcome. They had bravely come forward with their stories. Their testimonies were emotional and powerful, shedding light on the trauma they had endured and the strength it took to speak out. The trial was long and difficult. It spanned several weeks, with numerous witnesses and experts taking the stand. The defense and prosecution presented their cases with fervor, each side fighting for their version of the truth, but the jury ultimately believed the women. Their decision was a testament to the power of truth and the importance of listening to survivors. Masterson faced a lengthy prison sentence. The gravity of his crimes meant that he would likely spend many years behind bars, reflecting on the harm he had caused. The judge set a sentencing date for August 4, 2023. This date would mark the next chapter in the legal proceedings as the court determined the exact length of Masterson's sentence. The actor's legal troubles were far from over. Appeals and further legal battles loomed on the horizon, ensuring that this case would continue to be a topic of discussion and scrutiny for some time to come. After the guilty verdict, allegations of juror contact surfaced. These allegations raised serious concerns. They pointed to potential interference with the judicial process. Jurors reported being contacted by members of Masterson's legal team. These contacts happened after the trial had ended. One juror described a visit from defense attorney Sean Hawley. Another juror reported being contacted by Masterson's appeal team. An alternate juror also received a visit from a member of Masterson's legal team. These contacts left some jurors feeling uneasy. They felt pressured by the defense team's actions. The allegations of juror contact raised legal red flags. This was not just a minor infraction, it was a serious breach that could potentially undermine the entire judicial process. The sanctity of the courtroom and the impartiality of the jurors are cornerstones of the legal system. Any attempt to influence or harass jurors can lead to a miscarriage of justice, which is why these allegations were taken so seriously. California law strictly regulates contact with jurors after a trial. These regulations are in place to ensure that the verdicts are based solely on the evidence presented during the trial and not on any external influences. The laws are clear and unambiguous, leaving no room for misinterpretation. They are designed to protect the jurors from any form of harassment or undue pressure that could affect their judgment. This is to protect the integrity of the judicial process. The scales of justice must remain balanced, and any attempt to tip them in favor of one side is a direct attack on the fairness of the trial. The judicial system relies on the trust of the public, and any breach of this trust can have far-reaching consequences. The integrity of the process is paramount, and any actions that threaten this integrity are met with strict scrutiny. Jurors are not supposed to be harassed or influenced. They are ordinary citizens who have been called upon to perform a civic duty, and they deserve to do so without fear of retribution or coercion. The law provides them with protections to ensure that they can carry out their duties impartially and without interference. Any attempt to contact or influence a juror is a serious offense, and is treated as such by the legal system. The defense team's actions seemed to cross the line. Their behavior raised questions about their respect for the legal process and their willingness to abide by the rules. The courtroom is a place where the law is upheld, and any actions that undermine this principle are viewed with suspicion. The defense team's conduct was not only questionable but also potentially illegal, leading to a closer examination of their actions. California Code of Civil Procedure Section 206 outlines the rules for juror contact. This section is explicit in its requirements and leaves no room for ambiguity. It clearly states that any contact with jurors must be conducted in a manner that does not harass or pressure them. The law is designed to protect jurors from any form of undue influence and to ensure that their decisions are based solely on the evidence presented in court. It states that any contact must be done in a way that doesn't harass or pressure jurors. This means that any communication with jurors must be respectful and non-coercive. The law recognizes the importance of maintaining the impartiality of jurors and provides clear guidelines to ensure that this impartiality is preserved. Any deviation from these guidelines is considered a serious breach of legal ethics and is subject to investigation and potential penalties. The defense team's actions appeared to violate this code. Their behavior suggested a disregard for the legal protections afforded to jurors and raised concerns about their commitment to a fair trial. The judge's stern demeanor reflected the seriousness of the situation and the potential consequences of the defense team's actions. The courtroom is a place where justice is served, and any actions that threaten this principle are taken very seriously. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office took notice. The allegations of juror contact were not something that could be ignored. The District Attorney's Office is responsible for upholding the law and ensuring that justice is served. They recognized the potential implications of the defense team's actions and took immediate steps to address the situation. The integrity of the judicial process was at stake, and the District Attorney's Office was determined to get to the bottom of the allegations. They launched an investigation into the allegations. The investigation was thorough and aimed at uncovering the truth behind the defense team's actions. Investigators reviewed evidence, interviewed witnesses, and examined the legal implications of the alleged juror contact. The goal was to ensure that the judicial process remained fair and impartial and that any violations of the law were addressed appropriately. The bustling activity in the District Attorney's Office reflected the urgency and importance of the investigation, as they worked diligently to uphold the principles of justice. Masterson's connection to the Church of Scientology added another layer to the case. All three accusers were former Scientologists. They claimed that the church had discouraged them from reporting the assaults. Scientology's policy of disconnection also played a role. This policy prohibits members from associating with anyone who has left the church. The Church of Scientology has denied any involvement in the case. However, its presence loomed large. Some speculated that Scientology may have influenced the defense team's actions. Others questioned whether the church was trying to protect its reputation. Section 5. Seeking the truth, the evidentiary hearing. The allegations of juror contact were taken seriously. The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office filed a motion. They requested an evidentiary hearing. The purpose of the hearing was to investigate the extent of the defense team's contact with jurors. Judge Charlene Olmedo, who presided over Masterson's trial, granted the motion. She ordered that any further contact with jurors must go through the court. This was a significant development. It demonstrated the seriousness of the allegations. The evidentiary hearing was set for a later date. Section 6. Experts weigh in. Legal experts weighed in on the allegations. They agreed that the defense team's actions were troubling. If found to have violated the law, the consequences could be severe. Disbarment was a possibility. This would mean the attorneys could lose their licenses to practice law. The experts also pointed out the potential impact on Masterson's appeal. If the defense team was found to have engaged in misconduct, it could weaken their case. It could even lead to a mistrial. The stakes were high for both Masterson and his legal team. Section 7. Public outrage and media frenzy. The allegations of juror contact sparked public outrage. Many people expressed anger and disbelief. They saw it as an attempt to undermine justice. The media coverage was intense. The case became a major news story. Social media was abuzz with discussions about the allegations. The hashtag #JusticeForVictims trended on Twitter. People shared their thoughts and opinions. The case reignited the conversation about the power dynamics in Hollywood and beyond. Section 8. Masterson's future. Uncertain. The allegations of juror contact cast a long shadow over the case. Masterson's future remained uncertain. He was facing a lengthy prison sentence. But the outcome of the evidentiary hearing could change everything. Masterson's legal team maintained their client's innocence. They vowed to appeal the guilty verdict, but the allegations of juror contact threatened to derail their efforts. The case was a stark reminder that even after a verdict is reached, the legal battle can continue. Section 9. Justice at stake. The allegations of juror contact in the Danny Masterson case raised fundamental questions about the justice system. These allegations were not just minor infractions, they struck at the very heart of what it means to have a fair trial. Juror contact, if proven, could mean that the sanctity of the jury's deliberation process was compromised. This is a serious issue because the jury is supposed to be an impartial body, free from external influences. They highlighted the importance of protecting the integrity of jury trials. The jury system is a cornerstone of our legal framework, designed to ensure that justice is administered fairly and without bias. When the integrity of this system is called into question, it undermines public confidence in the entire judicial process. The jurors are ordinary citizens who are entrusted with the responsibility of determining the guilt or innocence of a defendant. Their role is crucial, and any interference with their duties can have serious consequences. The outcome of the evidentiary hearing could have far-reaching implications. If the court finds that there was indeed improper contact with the jurors, it could lead to a mistrial. This would mean that the entire trial process would have to start over, causing delays and additional costs. Moreover, it could also lead to changes in how future trials are conducted, with stricter measures put in place to prevent such incidents from occurring again. If the defense team was found to have engaged in misconduct, it would erode public trust in the legal system. The legal system relies on the trust and confidence of the public to function effectively. When lawyers or other legal professionals engage in unethical behavior, it casts a shadow over the entire system. People begin to question whether justice is truly being served, and this can lead to a loss of faith in the courts and the rule of law. It would also set a dangerous precedent. Allowing such misconduct to go unpunished would send a message that the rules can be bent or broken without consequence. This could encourage others to engage in similar behavior, further undermining the integrity of the legal system. It is essential that any instances of misconduct are addressed promptly and appropriately to maintain the credibility of the judicial process. The case served as a reminder that the pursuit of justice is an ongoing process. Justice is not a one-time event, but a continuous effort that requires vigilance and dedication. Legal professionals, jurors, and the public all have a role to play in ensuring that the principles of fairness and due process are upheld. This case highlights the need for ongoing education and training for those involved in the legal system to prevent future incidents of misconduct. It requires vigilance and a commitment to upholding the principles of fairness and due process. Every participant in the legal system, from judges to jurors to attorneys, must be committed to these principles. It is only through collective effort and unwavering dedication to justice that we can ensure the legal system remains fair and just for all.